Hey everybody, John here with Havokmkr Studio, and I'm hoping you all are having a fantastic Monday. I don't know if it's a good Monday, but I know it's a Monday, and I got to look at it as I'm alive. And hey, good evening, Nam. I think I'm relatively well, though I think I have some summertime cold going on. I don't think it's the COVID-19, at least I hope not. Oh, I am painting. I mean, can't you see me painting right now, dude? I'm like painting. I'm painting so fast that things are happening. So, just quick update on a couple models here. This is Lieutenant I've worked on I think last week. What I didn't do, I didn't give him the little Lieutenant stripe there on his front of his helmet. So I just did that really quick this morning. Just used some black Templar and some Mephiston red and just added that little marking there on the front of his helmet, and then I kind of cleaned up the bottom of it with white, just so it just looks like it's a stripe added on and not coming all the way down. I didn't need to do that little bit of white there at the brim or the rim of the helmet, but I just thought it kind of made it look a little bit snazzier. So this guy is moments from being done. I just have to finish up his backpack here. So while I've got you guys on here, we're just going to do the last little bit, give a chance for other people to get on. This is kind of a extra little warm-up that I like to do. Just kind of get the ball rolling, so to speak. I get myself in the mindset of painting, get my focus. Might need to shed some more light. There we go. Look at that. And the Lord said, let there be light. So tonight I got a brand new model that I tinkered with, and did a little bit of conversion, I think yesterday. And since I'm allowed to have 2 lieutenants in an army, I mean, I think per unit choice. So I take, if I want a lieutenant, I can have 2 per HQ slot versus just taking one model in a HQ slot. So I figured, just in case, why don't I go ahead and have 2 ready to go? Just in case, especially for if I might be participating in a massive apocalypse game in August. I think August 8th. And if so, I'm hoping that the Iron Snakes here will be at full company strength. So I'll be able to roll out with a full company of Iron Snakes. That'll probably end up dying really fast, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I'll show up and I will have one of the coolest looking armies ever, and I'll be the crazy guy who fields a full battle company in an APOC battle. So we'll see. But I don't think they're using the regular apocalypse rules. I think they're using regular 8th edition. Well, now they'll probably change it to 9th edition, but regular rules for it. So it's a regular game, just I think it's somewhere in the vicinity of like 100,000 points. I think it's like either a 1-day or a 2-day event. Regardless, it's going to be very massive, very spectacular. Lots of titans, warlords, warhounds, reavers, stompas, everything just running around the board. So maybe they'll just ignore my my battle company of 100 guys because they want to go after the bigger, juicier targets. You know what? If I'm able to, I will. That'll be interesting because it's not my APOC game, so I don't know if the people that are putting it on, because if I understood correctly, it's a charity style event, so they might not let me stream, but if they do, sure, why not? I might have to go full on. I might have to have a GoPro at that point, but that'll just make it easier to to have it going. I just don't know. I mean, they said, or I've been told that that APOC game is over like 8 or 9 tables, or maybe it's 10 tables. It was like 120. I don't know. It's big. It's massive. To the point they also have things going on a different table. So like maybe there's some orbital battle going on, or you're on an orbital platform trying to control it to be able to launch nukes and stuff from orbit. And so there's battles going on up there. Then there's battles on the ground, maybe underground or something. So I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect, except that supposedly it will be magnificent. I've been assured that it'll be fun, and I prefer the Apox games. I think the Apocalypse games are a lot more fun, just because they just a big, massive battle. I mean, I normally don't like to play for a long time, but those games, they're okay. I'm okay with that. Alright. Can't wait to get this little lieutenant done. All my guys are slowly coming along. Well, done until I'm ready to go in and, as I've said before, mess with everybody's leather pouches and their bases. But it's done enough that the model itself is ready. I'm going to adjust that lighting again. And speaking of lighting, thanks to Jen and Jason, or Jason and Jen, over at Monument Hobbies. You can find them here on Twitch, friends of the channel, friends of FMP, and been a big help with us. And I reached out to them today for Havokmkr Studio, and they sent me a wealth of information on cameras, lighting, what they've done, some lessons that they've learned. So and I'm glad I reached out to them first, because I was just about to pull the trigger on purchasing some equipment, and I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been some not so great equipment. So I'm very thankful that they replied, and they were very, very generous, very helpful in giving me some updated information concerning the equipment that I should be using. So yay! What does that mean? Better camera later on down the line. That means also I'll have a new stable camera arm situation going on here, different than what I'm using right now, and some new lighting. This new lighting looks like it'd be pretty choice. So yay! It's a good thing. This is a good thing. It's very awesome that they, I mean, not that I'm a rival, but having another studio say, hey, can you give me your secrets? But then again, they are pretty, like I said, they are very nice and very generous in helping people out. If they weren't, they wouldn't be teaching you how to paint like them on their stream. So just very thankful that Ski and I created a good relationship with them in the beginning, when a couple years ago, actually, when we were at LVO together. We were in LVO the second year, but that year we were. So really, really cool thing when you network like that. All right. He just got done. Lots of paint on him and some washes, so we need to let him settle. I'm going to get to the zombie Pope tonight. He is still a little wet behind the ear, so to speak. I need to let that paint fully dry before I tackle him. I ran out of primer, or white primer, so I had to use lead belcher. And once that was dry, I had to go in and do a layer of Corax white on him. So, I mean, it came out okay, but I need to make sure that this dries before we tackle him. So, we have one more kind of a pre-workout, if you will, except this is not going to give me the jitters. Before I tackle our second lieutenant, which in a way he is a second lieutenant, not a first lieutenant. The guy with the spear that you just saw was the primary lieutenant I will use. This other lieutenant, ranking wise, in a way, is a second lieutenant. So he's, you know what? I'm already getting myself confused. He's a lieutenant. We're gonna tinker with him and more than anything else tonight. Him and the Pope. And it's a conversion I did the other day. Like I said, I think you guys will like it. I was very fortunate to get my hands on the model, even though I was very disappointed that I did not get a legitimate version of the model. This is what I have here is a verified, what do you call it? Gosh darn it. A verified recast. And that was my bad. I ordered two of these guys, and one of them was a recast. I should have paid attention, and that's on me. But you know what? I'm not going to stress over it. I've got the model. It's not a print model, so I'm not too worried about it right now. But the fact that it was a plastic recast, plastic recasts are not great. There's something wrong with the process of when they do that. Resin is one thing, but plastic just does not translate well when you recast it. So just going in, it's a little bit more of a focus type of exercise here. Going in with some bull titanium white on a shield, just to get myself into the groove. Oh, hey, Nam is on. Hey, Nam. I think it is an egg, Mars, but a friend of mine is moving, and he needs a place to store his Mars resin printer, and I volunteered to do it. Well, I mean, I not volunteered. I accepted his request to store it here. That's better. So I'm gonna have access to one. So I might have questions for you. And it's only a temporary situation. It's not a long-term. But I might have questions for you. Maybe. He's got everything set up for it. I just I have never used one, so I might have some walkthrough type of things when I get it, if you don't mind. I know you're my main dealer of 3D printed stuff, so I'm still gonna reach out and say, hey man, could you get interested in doing this? But might have some requests for assistance, especially like I'm going to be I don't know if you ran into any problems using those files to do shoulder pads, the kind of pre-made shoulder pads for Space Marines with the symbols on it. I know you did some for the Carcharodons, and I'm going to want to do some for my Oh, thank you. I'm going to want to go ahead and, since I can't find just the Iron Snake symbol, I'm just going to have to print off the shoulder pads as a full shoulder pad and then just cut off the pre-molded shoulder pads. I know I'm messing this model up right now. That's alright. Lost my concentration, but that's what this is for. Just to get some focus. I should know by now not to talk when I'm doing detail work like this. Because this, the left side is better than the right side, or the right side is better than the left side, depending on how you're looking at that. Ugh. And I've ordered some black gloves, rubber gloves. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Master or whatever Jedi call their people. Jedi Master Nam. Let's see here. You know, I've got a lot of this white here, so I might have to. Gosh darn it! I don't want to waste this white, so we're gonna let this dry for a second before I go in and clean up that. I didn't want to. I actually wanted to wait a little bit, but I put too much white on my palette, so I need to take advantage of what I've got here. So, God dang, I didn't want to start on this guy, but we're gonna have to. Just taking a quick look at how his Pope robes, like a Pope's holy vestments, look. So I'm gonna have to come back in and clean this up. I know it because where the majority of this model is going to have red on it, so it's going to bleed into that white at some point. But you know what? I can do my best to be careful around it. And I might be able to hide some of it, some of the mistakes with blood. Blood for the blood god. But I want to use up this white while I've got it. Should have put so much on my palette. It's pretty watered down, so it's not going to. Yeah, I'll still have to put another layer on. That's fine. I don't mind putting on a second layer. Especially since I'll have to clean everything up when I come back through after I lay down the law with the red. And this guy is kind of a guinea pig anyways, because I've got 3 of these that has to be done. So errors that I make with this one guy will help me set a standard for the others. Kind of a trial run for the Pope. And if you're Catholic and you're offended by this, by me painting a zombie Pope, well, think of it this way. This zombie Pope, the Pope has gone on to meet his Lord and Savior and is free from suffering. So it's a good thing that he's a zombie Pope, because he's not suffering anymore. So he's welcome, maybe? I might be reaching a little bit here, but I think that could be a good thing. You he's gets to go meet his god. That's not bad. It's got to be a good thing, right? I'm going to try to make his robes as regal as possible because, you know, he's going to have gone out looking mighty good in his ridiculously expensive vestments. Not that, you know, religious figures were corrupt or anything back in the Middle Ages. We're not going to discuss that on tonight's show. Or that they're corrupt today or anything. You know, whatever. This is not a commentary on, commentary on corrupt religious figures. I would never consider doing that on the show. Interesting. What I'm saying interesting about is noticed what did I do, Jimmy Johnson? Did I do something wrong? All right, you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and keep rolling with Super Pope here. Really, APOC? What? I don't know what you mean. I'm thinking about it. If that's what you mean, I don't know. Maybe you didn't say, "Hey, I need an answer right now." You just asked me, and I said, "I'll think about it," or "I'm thinking about it." When do you need to know by? Man, we're the same age. Young one. At least I think we're the same age. I mean, I'm probably going to say yes. I don't see any reason not to. The call to war harkens. Just in case anybody's wondering, I know this is... Hey, I'm 47, or I turned 47 here in a couple weeks. July 9th. Anyways, this red that I'm putting on, I know it looks a little bright, but it's actually really dark. It's this red is, oops, got a little bit of a splash over there. This is the Flesh Tearers red. I figured that these Pope robes would be wouldn't be like a rich or like a bright rich red color, blood color. I figured it'd be a little bit more darker. Whatever. Shut up. All right. Well, you know, it's perfect that you're on here because Nama's asking if I'm going to live stream the APOC game. About how big is the APOC game, like table-wise, point-wise, and all that jazz? And do you think I would be able to stream it? I could, depending if I could convince Jonathan and Ben to let me use more studio equipment, I might be able to come up there set all the studio equipment up and have lights and all that stuff and stream it. And is it a 1-day event? Is it a 2-day event? It's a charity event too, isn't it? One-day charity. Oh, it's several 100,000 points and possibly stream. Cool. Let me know, because I would like to do that, especially if it's a charity stream. You know, maybe might be able to get it set up and stream it and set up a, you know, if they've got a, especially if they've got like a, what do you call it? Like a PayPal account or something that we can set up the donations to. I can get that, people that are watching the stream can donate to it. I don't know, you know, if we're gonna like get millions of dollars, but might be able to highlight the charity and get a few extra bucks for the charity. So if you think they would be interested, I have no problem doing that. All right. Oh, that'll be perfect timing, because I think in the next week or very soon here, a friend of mine's going to be, I'm going to be letting him leave his resin printer here, his 3D resin printer. So that might be time to start cranking out a whole bunch of Warhound Titans. It'll just be like this factory line of Warhound Titans. The month of July is nothing but Warlord and Warhound Titans or something. I don't know. Just kidding. Games Workshop and Forge World, but I think I'm using the right eye. That would actually be kind of cool. Yeah, find out for me, man. I think that would be really awesome. All right, we're going to let Zombie Pope rest for a second. Hey, 1 or 2 is all that matters, man. 1 or 2 Warlords or 1 or 2 Warhounds? All right. The Warhounds are the smaller Titans, if you didn't already know. All right, let's go in here, get this guy cleaned up so we can move on to the Lieutenant. I'm letting that Pope dry a little bit before that. Let that contrast dry on him before I go back in and tinker with him. Right now I'm just dabbing a little bit of non-oil down into the recesses here. Just trying to be a little bit more careful than I was with the paint. Hopefully I won't have to come back through with the paint to clean that up. But I will have to come back through with a second run of the non-oil down those recesses. That's no big deal. It's the price I pay for rushing that. go back in and clean that up. Let me check chat. Okay, so we're doing good. Yeah, that's man, several 100,000 points. That'd be good. I should have a battle company ready to go, and if I don't manage to sell that warhound or that warlord titan, I'll have that to bring. It's 2 rows of 7 tables. Okay, cool. 2 rows of 7 tables each. That would be pretty cool, though. I think that actually sounds really cool. So I have that one warlord titan done, ready to go. If I don't sell it between now and then yeah, I'll bring it up. But I do plan on putting it up. First locally on the Houston buy sell page, and then after that, if it doesn't sell, I'll put it up on eBay. I really don't want to do eBay, but got to do what I got to do. And if it doesn't sell by then, I'll bring it up. And I know Clint has a. Oh, that's cool. Okay, cool. I know Clint, a friend of mine, Clint has a warhound. Oh goodness. Who knows? I might have some big stompy robots by then. So I'll have at least a battle company, a Thunderhawk. Well, I guess you're probably going to use the Thunderhawk. So yeah, I'll have stuff. Probably a couple knights, some executioner, a bunch of executioner tanks. So we'll see. All right, I need to let that. Oh, it's already dry. God bless you. Low on oil. So let's go ahead and grab some bold titanium white. And oh, cool. Is he still up in Dallas, or is he back down here? And I'm just not having much luck with this shield. Messed up right there. Man, why is the shield giving me so much trouble? Yeah, you know what, Mr. Johnson, go ahead and put me down. I'll go. Barring anything coming up that prevents me, I don't foresee that happening. So, yeah, go ahead and put me down, man. That'll be fun. Man, I wish I could figure out what I'm doing wrong here with this shield. Why it's being such a pain in the butt. Do. Do you know if they're going to be using the new edition rules, or they got their own custom rules? What's happening? Are they using the new Apocalypse rules? Old Apoc rules, 9th edition, 8th edition, 1st edition. So should be ordering tomorrow. I'm now that I got that information about some good studio setup and equipment from Monument Hobbies. I will be ordering. I think that's what I was talking about in the beginning. That's what I'm going to be ordering as soon as I can find the stuff that they recommend. I will be ordering that stuff probably tomorrow. I'm hoping. If I can find it, or if I can find something similar. I'll be all right if it's something similar, as long as it's something that's similar. I'm excited about it, though. It'll have some good studio equipment. And I found I have a second monitor. I just don't have a monitor stand, which is weird. So I got a monitor, but no monitor stand. And I got a power cable for the monitor, but I don't have a cable for the monitor. So who knows? But that's good. At least having a second monitor in here will actually be very, very helpful in the streaming. So I'm excited about that. Lots of good things are happening, man. Lots of good things are happening. All right. Looks like I got that white fixed there. So we're going to get him out of the way before I yell at him and toss him around. Getting really tired of doing this white shield. I don't know why you guys thought it was a good idea to let me do this. But oh well. Alright. Let's get on to the main attraction tonight. Well, first let's check on Zombie Pope. Still a little wet in those recesses. That's okay, but that's still looking pretty good. Zombie Pope. Man, that Flesh Terror Red looks really good. That's a good color. I tell you, these contrast paints, man, they work really well with when you have lots of textures and folded robes and all that jazz. So, okay, 9th edition with house rules for the event. Cool. So this is an exclusive model, the Sergeant Jovian. I don't remember how you could get them. So I've got one ordered from a site that, or actually, well, two, but one ended up being a recast. So, and I'm all right with that. I thought it was two because my intention was get two of them, one for me, one legitimate one for me, and then have one to give away here on the channel. But that backfired because I didn't read the small print, so to speak. Anyways, so I got his base coating on here. What I like about this model, and you can look him up, it's Sergeant Jovian. I think it's Jovian. Normally he's got a dead orc body here, but I've got him with a dead marine body, and I clipped off his chainsword that was buried in the neck of the orc, and I buried it in the neck of the the Chaos Space Marine. Well, soon to be Chaos Space Marine. All right, I'll see you later, man. So what I've done with him is already gave him his Leadbelcher base coat, and then I hit him again with an that's with the primer. So then I hit him again as usual with what I've been doing with all of these near 100 iron snakes. After the Leadbelcher, I take the Leadbelcher paint. I go ahead and put a nice thin coat of Leadbelcher base coat after the primer, and once all that's dry, then I go in, add a Nuln Oil gloss wash, let it dry brush Runefang Steel, and then that actually ends up as like another primer. Then I go in with and do a thin layer of that. Oh gosh, I just said what it was. Runefang steel, and over that to kind of shore everything up and get a nice smooth finish. And then the last layer, so I can have that almost chrome-like finish, is the Stormhost Silver, very thin layer that actually ends up as kind of a, I really don't know what the terminology I'm looking for, but it's kind of gets down, if I have some like brush strokes, brush strokes on where the paint was, and you can see it. It actually ends up kind of like a gap filler, I guess, and then also gets that high shine. So I know it's a very lengthy process to get it, but you know, if you're gonna, I've noticed that other people getting their armor just right, you know, you might have to layer and layer and layer and layer and layer. So I'm happy with it. So now with this base armor done, I can go in and we can deal with all the knickknacks that he's got on his belt, all the gold work. I added a whole bunch of other purity seals here on the model on the left side just to add a little bit more flair, since he is going to be a lieutenant and not a sergeant. And I think what I was saying earlier, what I like about this model is that he's already got some built-in battle damage. So he's got like a bullet hole right here on his chest. There's a ding over there, bullet hole. There's this the left the left greave. It's got some bullet holes and it's got some other scarring and scratching. Same with his gauntlet here. There's a little bit of a chunk off of the gorget. He's got some more on his other greaves there. So the guy, I like the fact that they've got a lot of built-in battle damage, and it's given me a good idea when I come back in and apply all the battle damage to all 100 models once I figure out how I'm going to base these guys. That's when once I have the basing figured out, that's when I'm going to come back in, add all the battle damage in one big assembly line, and then of course do the wear and tear on the leather, kind of give it that aged look. So let us do a little bit of Black Templar as usual. Get that down in those soft spots behind the knees and in the crotch, and a couple of the flex joints on the torso, maybe in the pit of those elbows there. So using a small brush, and I'm not teaching. This is just hangout, paint and chat. I'm waiting until I can get the computer a little bit of a boost in about a week, so I can do some better rendered videos and do some couple tutorials. I'd like to get the tutorials out really soon before 9th edition drops at the end of the month. So I'm doing my best to, I've got the ideas that I want to use. Got a couple scripts ready to go. I just need to soup up my computer so I can do the editing. I don't have to trouble anybody else, even though people have volunteered. And I mean, it might get to the point where I have to say, hey, here's the video. And I might just have to record the videos and say, hey, during the video, I'll say, cut to this scene or this image, and let them do all the digital editing and whatnot. I might have to do that just so I can get those out, because I've had some people requesting a couple paint schemes, quick paint schemes for using contrast paints, for especially stuff coming up. How would I recommend painting Necrons really fast? People that just don't want to, and totally, it's totally up to them. It's their models; they can do what they want, but they don't want to spend a lot of time painting it. They just want to get the easiest way to make the models look good. So, I've got a couple ideas that I'm going to pass on, and we can do those in a tutorial video. And somebody asked how, I think it was Nam, was asking about painting vehicles. So I've got a couple. I got an impulsor and a couple impulsors, and 1 repulsor executioner that are ready to go. But what I need to do is use an airbrush to get the base coat and the first layer on before I tackle the model, do all the detail work. So real quick, what I did was add Black Templar down into, they got these flexible joints, while the Primaris guys on the side. Sometimes you'll see it, what depends on how the torso is, or whatever model it is that you're using. You might see both, you might only see one. They also have it just kind of wraps around the back on both sides. That's that joint right there, just a flexible joint. So I also put the Black Templar on these straps back here and down there in his super Space Marine taint and behind the knees. I didn't have to do behind the knee on the left knee because I can't see it, but there is a little bit of a flex joint where he's got his Captain Morgan pose going on. So I went ahead and added Black Templar, tucked that down in there. It's just extra little stuff, just extra little details, guys, that you can knock out. Something else I'm pondering doing here on camera, and I'm probably going to regret it, but not regret showing you, but regret doing it. I'm thinking that I'm going to use some, you know what, let's just go ahead and we're going to regret this together. I'm going to use some Achillean green, I think. Let me take a look at this color. Yeah. I'm going to use some Achillean green, and we're going to just put it over the Dead Space Marine's body. It'll be close-ish to not 1,000 Sun, but the, oh man, why can't I think of the name of those guys? Come on, help me out here. Kind of a greenish color. Oh man, why is my brain not working? Alpha Legion. Thank you. I think it'll be close to Alpha Legion colors, or close enough that it'll be, I think it'll look good. So we're going to just go ahead and do this right now. Then I can regret this later if I screw this up. Anyways, so that model I did in Lead Belcher as well. And then I took some Necron Compound as a dry brush, and I brushed over it just so I can get a little bit shinier. Because I wanted to have kind of a metallic, I wanted the color to be a little bit more of a metallic. So we are simply just going to, I thinned down this layer of the Achillean, I think it's Achillean something or rather. Achillean green. It's kind of a blue green. I thinned it down with a 1-to-1 mix of contrast medium. Just I didn't want such an intense color, especially when I'm trying to get that kind of a chrome, or not chrome, but metallic look on the armor. That's not too bad. I think it's going to pan out to look very similar to what Thousand Suns use. Close enough for government work, as I like to say. Alright, so it looks good so far, and we can go ahead and just be a little bit more liberal. Applying that around. I totally did not check up. Anybody know what's going on with, I know there's a lot of rumor and stuff going around, but supposedly today, Dr. Disrespect is supposed to come out and say, he is supposed to come out, not his critics or anything. He's supposed to come out and say, hey, this is what happened. I think he said he was going to do that today. There's going to be some big announcement about another streaming platform today as well. I've been too busy. I did not see any information updated on that. Did anybody know? Is that happening? Did he do something naughty? Naughty as in, sexually harass somebody, or worse. God, I hope not. Or is it because he violated terms of service by recruiting people? What's the deal? I'm very curious because, you know, if there's going to be a mass exodus of people from Twitch, and Twitch is about ready to pull a mixer, I doubt it, but if they were to pull a mixer, you know, I'd like to know if I need to go set up an account on whatever this new platform is, just to get ahead of the game. So while I'm sitting here flapping my gums still plowing that thin down Achillean green to the body as much as possible. Try not to get it on my model or my iron snake. I don't like that cleanup. This would be a nice, good contrasting color. I'm not sure what not the iron snakes, but what do you call these guys? Alpha Legion. Their backpacks are, or their shoulder trim would be, but I'm not too worried about that right now. I can easily go back in and hit it with some white or something, and then apply a different color, clean it up. All right. No, I'm not going to 3D print a Warlord Titan. It's just a bad joke. So before somebody runs to Games Workshop and, well, you know, John is doing this, and get my channel shut down, and all because I was joking around. I don't have the ability or the money to be able to do that, and to be honest, I don't think there's any 3D printed files out there for it. And I personally would rather have a legitimate one. That's me. That is me. All right, man, I like that color. Check in. Yeah, man. I really like that color on that armor. Heck, I might have to do Alpha Legions. If I ever do a bad guy army, I might have to do Alpha Legions. Holy crap, I like that Achillean green on there. That's pretty. That's really pretty. Wow. I really like that. Okay. I've got a couple more of these dead bodies I've got to put on other Marines. So, you know what? Yeah, we're definitely doing this. I dig it. You know, and while we're at it, might as well go ahead, and I've got a little bit left here. I can just add a little bit more to my palette, so I've got a healthy amount. Just so I don't forget the process. I've got this captain here with I think I was going to do these guys as word bearers. Dang it, Nom. You're supposed to remind me. That's all right. I'm okay with this, though. This color is really nice. Though I thinned this one down a little too much, it looks like. That's all right. We can clean that up. We can put a second layer on. So be careful not to get it anywhere. I don't know what parts of this is armor, so I'm just kind of putting it everywhere, and then I can go in later and clean it up with other colors if need be. The idea though is to get as much of this on here as possible for later. And use it up before it dries up. Not sure if that's part of his backpack. I'm not sure what's going on here, but all I know is that this greater possessed got messed up. Tuck down inside there, and that should be it. Alright, we're going to leave this alone for now because I'm getting awfully close to splashing on his legs there, and I don't want that to happen. But at least I got some color on him. That's all that mattered. And I used up that. I just hate using up or wasting paint. So, alright. So we've got our Alpha Legion guy down on the ground. He's got a chainsword buried into his neck. He has had a very bad day. That's what he gets for going up against my iron snakes. That is the fate of all traitors. Alright, let's start getting some color into him. Alright. Is that my wash? It's my all-around brush, dude. Okay, Knights, I tend to use and abuse one brush for like everything. So like this brush is almost dead. It's a regiment brush, which I was doing my best to keep it healthy, but it has gone to crap. So it has been my wash brush and my base coat brush. This brush, I go through these brushes, the regiment brushes, like crazy. And it might actually be not necessarily what I'm doing to the brush. It might also be the quality of the brush. Because this brush just, out of all my brushes that I use, it's one of my favorites, but I go through them a lot. And for some reason, it just has a very high mortality rate, I guess, and that's so I'm not sure what is going on, but I really like how this brush works on the models, and I can use it. Very utilitarian brush. Hey, if you I don't know, okay, Knights, if you've got your channel up and running yet, or if you were going to be getting a channel up and running. I know you have a YouTube channel, I believe. If you got any of your links in there, put it there in the chat, and we can definitely rally the troops to jump over and boost your subscribers. You've got a lot of high quality content, and I would love to get share viewers. And my guys and gals so far have been really super awesome about going over and helping people out and boosting numbers and such. So, I mean, if you're interested in boosting numbers. Hey, well then, if you could put your YouTube link in there you go. Awesome sauce. Something I plan on doing is all the friends of the channel that have their own channels, YouTube or Twitch, Instagram, or whatever. I plan on getting an informational like poster put up on my Facebook page, and also when I end my stream at the end of the night is have not only my own social media stuff on there, but have everybody else's social medias on there so people can go check them out. So yeah, just want to make good videos for people to help out the hobby. Yeah, exactly. That's mainly the reason why I do this. A, because I get to paint my stuff. B, I get to share information, whether people like it or not. And I'm working on, some tutorial videos. I've got somebody that's going to be helping me. I just need some more computing power, but some quick videos I like to get out before 9th edition drops. So yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of people that see your videos. They've talked about them, at least through the F&P channel. So yeah, man, keep up the great work. And if anybody is watching right now, roll up in the YouTube channel, or roll up in the chat. You see his OK Knights link. Some high quality stuff, dude. High quality stuff. Like, he is one of those people that have set a standard that I want to get in level of quality. I don't know how else to say that, but I really, there's people. He's one of those few people that set the bar for me. That I try to. No offense, but I try to exceed. There's a couple other. Well, there's actually a lot of people, but I try to. This is my competition. This is what I like to compete with. Other people like to do the battles and tournaments and stuff, but for me, it's the hobby. And it's not even try to be better than somebody else. It's just try to meet the on equal footing. If that makes sense, guys. Especially the players out there that are humble. If you're a humble hobbyist and you're really cool and helpful to people, man, I definitely, you're like right up, you're off screen. That's how much, I respect you. And I want to be like that. Real quick, I'm just adding in some Retributor Gold to his various knickknacks. I don't know what this thing is that he's got dangling there in his hand. I don't know what that is, but as far as I'm concerned, I was good. Actually, I had contemplated painting that as like getting rid of the little spike at the bottom and painting that as like a can of Space Marine beer or something. But then I was like, that kind of ruined the immersion. I don't think I'm the best. I don't think I'm the best in Houston or I appreciate that, or in Texas. Yeah, I love this model too. I'm glad I got my hands on him. I've actually got another one over there ready to go, but I'm going to save him for the Excoriator army once this army is at Battle Company strength, which I think I'm at like 70 or 80 models now total. And I think once the Indominus box comes out, that will cap that army with 100 plus models, because I've got like 4 captains. I think I'll have 4 captains, and then since I'm splitting, I'm getting a double set of Marines. That other set of Marines will start the Excoriators, which I've got everything I need for them except for the models. So I'm excited about that. That one we might come up with a tutorial after we tinker with painting white. I've got a couple techniques that I've been looking at that I really enjoy that are pretty fast and easy and will look pretty good, warm and inviting. So we'll see how this works out, guys. It's either going to fail miserably or it's going to look amazing. I don't know. I'm hoping it'll look amazing. And there'll be much rejoicing in the land of John. Because the Excoriators are like my number one go-to army. Oh, you're going to start Space Wolves. Cool. That'll be fun. That will be fun. Oh, that will be fun. Those new models look badass with that color scheme. Alright, just doing a quick survey of this Mamba Jamba. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the stripes for his lieutenant helmet. Right now I'm just trying to get some more color into this dude. Let's go ahead and hit his purity seals, and then after the purity seals, I think it'll be time to go ahead and do that very fine detail down in those little tiny recesses, like you see on the back of his calf there. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So let's get the ball rolling at least on those purity seals. Man, this brush has just about had it. Jeez Louise. It is dead in the water. It's very embarrassing. It's not even embarrassing. I don't mind. This brush has served me well, and I will give it a proper burial in the trash. Good send off. This brush is the little brush that could. It's lasted me a good 4 or 5 months of using and abusing. I have not taken as good care of it as I should have. That's on me. It's totally on me. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of other higher quality GW brushes over here that have that are still top quality, top shape, because I clean them off. I think I've shown this off to you guys before, but I use the Gentastics Drunken Brush Goop. This is from Creaturecaster / Monument Hobbies. This is probably the best brush soap I've ever come across, and I don't get paid for that advertisement, which, if I did, that would be freaking awesome. Really freaking awesome, but I digress. I usually take good care of the brushes, but this one, somewhere along the lines, I would say, since I've done so many models in the past 2 weeks, nearly 100 models in the past 2 weeks, at somewhere along the lines, I just got into the process of go, and I wasn't taking proper care of my brush, so it's paid the price. The poor little regiment brush that could. Oh well, it served its purpose. So I mean, I probably could have extended the life out of this, by another 4 to 6 months if I would have taken care of it. But it's a price you pay, man, for negligence. What are you gonna do, right? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna buy a new brush. And speaking of a new brush, where's my Black Templar? So like this small layer brush from Games Workshop I've had for well over a year, and it's in way better shape because I properly clean it off every night or after every use. So big difference. What I'm doing right now is just, there's a couple spots I missed with the Black Templar and those soft recess or those soft joints. So I just want to, and right up here around the wrists, and maybe the hands, the palms. Sorry. Yeah, just those little tiny extra details that I like to make sure I do. Little checks in the box. That way, if a judge comes over and they want to take a peek at what I did, they will see that extra little work that maybe the guy next to me or that's like close to me in points did not do. And that's an extra point or two that could set me on the path to get in first place. And I like that idea. Or getting the most points for painting, that sort of a thing. I mean, it's not like I'm getting gold medals and all that, or tens of thousands of dollars, but it's just kind of the pride thing of getting the best painted. I just like it, especially since this this is the aspect of the game, the hobby that I enjoy the most. And I tend to get onto one technique and we'll do it, crank out model after model after model before switching to a new technique, learning a new one, and combining the two. I think that works quite well for me, and it always means I'm always improving my models. Never static, like, oh, this is the way I've painted for 30 years and there's nothing wrong with it. And you know what? You're right. There is nothing wrong with it. But just like the hobby or the game grows, the miniatures grow, and we should be growing, leveling up, so to speak, getting experience points. And there's always, in my opinion, there's always a new technique you can learn, guys and gals. Always a new technique. So that's just me. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to listen to me. Just tell me to stop running my mouth. That's fine. All right. That was that on those purity seals there on his right leg. That's Mephiston red for the seal itself to start, and Morghast bone on the parchment. And then once that's dry, we'll go in and add some other colors on there. Lately, for the parchment, I've been actually running skeleton horde contrast over it. I've really enjoyed the way it looks, so I'm just going to keep up that process. I think it's a nice blend of colors, and normally, or in the past, I would use what do you call it? Agrax Earthshade or Seraphim Sepia, but it's too watery for that. Liquidy, I'm not sure what the terminology is I'm looking for there, but that skeleton horde contrast I think is the right consistency, and then I can go in and clean it up there. It's just a new, like I said, a new way to do things, and I've enjoyed doing it that way. So I've got a 2-to-1 mix of, and I don't know why I did a 2-to-1 mix, but of snakebite leather and contrast medium. I'm just putting over the leather here. I should have just gone straight snakebite leather like I've done for all the other models. I have no idea why I just mixed these two together, but here we are. I'll probably come back over with another thinned down version of it. Just a second layer once it's dry should darken it up to a much more acceptable color. And all this leather is going to get tinkered with anyways later on down the line once I figure out the technique that I want to use for aging and cracking the leather. Then that'll just be major assembly line day where I'll have like about probably be doing 5 models at a time, move them off to the side, do another 5. Probably all day long. It'll probably be a marathon run of aging and cracking leather, and then I'll take a couple days off, and then it'll be several days worth of doing battle damage on all 100 models. But that's a very involved process, and I'd rather have that total mindset where I'm focused just on doing that one aspect to the models, because that's so involved, and I want to do it right, so I can just go 100 balls to the wall, so to speak, and just totally focus on doing those two different things on different days, of course, or probably several days, because it's going to be like, I think at the end of the day this is going to be like 104 models, and that's before they come out with new ones, because we've got that ATV, I forget what they call that new Space Marine ATV, and then they got the that autocannon turret, sponson, whatever thing that the Tech Marine is sitting in, and we're supposed to find out about a whole bunch of new models this weekend, this Saturday. That'll be interesting. This Saturday when they're doing that battle report, we're supposed to get a glimpse into new models. Does that mean new Space Marine models, new Necron models, both, or other new models? So it's gonna, no matter what, it'll be exciting because I love to see new miniatures. Because then those new miniatures, maybe I might not want those new armies, but those new miniatures might inspire me to do a similar conversion. I mean, that's why I'm sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4 captains, because I get the ideas for captains, and then I'm going to be getting a 5th captain out of that box set that's coming. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, now I'm sitting on 2 lieutenants, and I'll probably make some more lieutenants. So I think I got 3 lieutenants now. So I've got a Phobos. No, I don't have a Phobos lieutenant. Ooh. I need to make myself a couple Phobos lieutenants. There we go. New project, ready to go. Like I need more characters that I'm not going to use. So down these recesses real quick, I'm just to go along with that silver, the Runefang steel. Trying to very carefully. There we go. Let it kind of run around. Apply. So I'm going to tap the model because I need that to keep flowing around there. What do you call this stuff? Dragonhof Nightshade down those recesses. Because it's dark enough to kind of what's the word? Do some contrasting there for color wise. But it's also, that blue is very good to reflect or to kind of go along with the very bright armor that I've done, the almost chrome armor, which, as I've said before, I know it's not the correct way to do Iron Snakes necessarily. They tend to have gunmetal armor, but you know what? I messed up, and I like what I did, so I'm gonna stick with it. And if I happen to come across some Iron Snake player that's like, well, that's supposed to be gunmetal and that's not really Iron Snake, so I'll be like, you know what? Thank you for your input. I really appreciate it. However, forge the narrative, as Games Workshop says. They also say it's your models, paint them however you want. But I understand some people have got a passion for their models or for their chapters, like me and Excoriators, I get it, but shouldn't criticize people. I'm please keep in mind that nobody's criticized me yet for the way I've painted my Iron Snakes. And I'm not saying that they will. I just hope nobody will. I'm getting a little sloppy here with the application of the Dragonhof Nightshade. That's okay. I'm going to come back in and we're going to clean everything up. Still going to do my best not to mess up, but as usual, the possibility exists, especially with me running my mouth and not concentrating. And also, since this model has the unfortunate circumstance of being a relatively bad recast, an unfortunate thing. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a real model. Well, it is a real model, but not a recast. And it's not even a good recast. That's why I don't like plastic. Like a plastic recast. I would rather buy the model, legit plastic model, from my local game store, like the Atomic Hobby Shop. That's where I shop mostly. Especially since I'm a member of FMP. But I don't know where I was going with that. But I do not like recasts that are plastic. I think they're horrible. B, they're horrible. C, they're horrible. That is, and I'm not trying to get into debate about, illegal versus legal. I've already paid the money for the model. I'm not going to toss this model away. And if somebody's like, hey, you can't use that model here because we know that you've used that one on camera and you said that was a recast, okay, that's no problem. This is why I make like 5 or 6 characters of each type. That's not a big deal. And that's even if I'm going to end up using this guy. He could just be a showpiece. Just to fill in the blanks in my army. And I am getting very sloppy, but that's okay. Like I said before, I expect to have a cleanup stage. So that's not a big deal. I know it'd be a lot easier if I didn't have to worry about a cleanup stage, but that's, it's me. That's on me. And when I'm trying to paint and talk and chat with you guys and hang out, I'm bound to make some mistakes. So, I'll live with it. Live with my mistakes. Hey, what's going on, Texas Wargamer? All right. So we got that Dragonholt Nightshade in there, very sloppy. By sloppy, you can see, I don't know if you can see, it should be a lot brighter here inside that square. I've got some splash over again there. Some of it splashed on the knee pad. It happens. I tend to be a lot more neat when I'm not sitting here flapping my gums while I'm talking to you guys. And I'm not blaming you guys. I'm the one that's flapping his gums. And I don't mind the cleanup stage, going back in and doing a little bit of cleanup, because you know what? It's just extra practice. It's just extra practice. Clean up my happy accidents. Because, sometimes I do have happy accidents with the painting. I ended up having a happy accident with the chrome or the Stormhost Silver over the model when I was just trying to use it as a highlight, and I ended up liking my mess up so well that the entire army now gets Stormhost Silver over the Runefang Steel. So sometimes happy accidents are nice. The Runefang Steel and the Lead Belcher were feeling a little lonely, so I gave them a new friend, and so now they've got their good friend Stormhost Silver. So everybody's friends. All the paints are friends. They're all a menagerie of colors, and they're all on here and they're friends. Yes, I have tried the Grey Knight's steel. Actually, I use that for my weapons. I use that as a base for like the power swords and such. I actually had considered stopping what I was doing with this, but the Grey Knight Silver, I don't know if you're maybe suggesting I use it for this army. It was too blue the other way. This needed to be closer to gunmetal. But yeah, I use this for everything, like for weapon, like blades and special weapons. Sometimes pistols, like mastercrafted pistols or bolters, swords, axes, the works. I love it. I think it is a fantabulous paint, and I would be interested to see what it looks like on like a full-blown armor. I have not done it yet. I'm actually, what I might do, I might just do a test run of it, because I'm really curious on what it looks like. It is a base paint, and I'm very curious that I think if I use Lead Belcher as a base, and then I apply at least a thin layer of this over that, I think that'll look good, unless I get the airbrush version and try that. But I think I would like to see what this looks like on a model in person. I know I can go look up one online, but I would like to see what it looks like. It's got a very nice luster to it. I don't know if I would paint Grey Knights like that, but I would consider it. It's a very pretty color. Very pretty color. The reason why I painted his right knee red, in case you don't know, all veterans for the Iron Snakes, they'll have the red on the knee. Everybody else has a white. And since this guy is a lieutenant, and a lieutenant should be a veteran, I figure, hey, it should probably be red. So I just put my fist on red on it. I'm going to let that dry before we go in and tinker with it. I'm thinking that I'm going to use a little bit of Corax white to start. We're going to go ahead and try to very carefully. I'm going to probably switch brushes here. Yeah, I'm going to switch brushes in just a moment. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint his little hand wiping towel. I don't know. I say hand wiping towel because I see football players or quarterbacks have this in between, and I just feel like they're just wiping their hands of blood. I don't think it's like a tabard. I don't think that's because a tabard, I thought, is a full thing you pull over your head. I mean, it doesn't have no sleeves. It's just has a long length of cloth with your symbol on it, and then it's got a hole in the center so you can put it around your head, and then it goes over your armor, shows off your heraldry and all that kind of stuff. So this could be a tabard, but I'm not sure what it's called, what the technical term. Grandpa Strange is usually my go-to guy for finding that, but he is not on tonight. I'll look it up. It's not significant. I'm not really, if I was really concerned with what it's called, I would go and look it up. Because we know now that like this little butt plate is called a coulee. We learned another thing. I think what the crotch guard is called was something else too. We've actually learned a lot about about armor, and I should probably I pulled not a video. I've got a file somewhere that shows off all the different components of, and which I'm assuming most of this armor is based off of European style armor and not Middle Eastern or Asian or anything like that. So I think Northern European, it probably is the better match. Okay, so that's just Corax white over that, whatever, tabard. We're just going to call it a tabard for now. We're going to let that dry, and we'll go back in with, since there's not a lot of, which is really weird, there's not a lot of folds in it. Usually there's a lot of folds and creases and such, pleats, if you will, but there's not a lot there. It's really flat, which is weird for that armor, but whatever, or for that on the model. So real quick, while I'm about to go in and deal with the cleanup of all the Drakenhof Nightshade that is dried, but while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and apply the Agrax Earthshade, which unfortunately is what I've been using. I say unfortunately because I didn't want to, but it ended up being the right choice. I wanted to try to find something different, but it ended up being the better choice to do the gold, or the base for the gold, or wash for the gold. One of those words before I go in and clean up the gold or brighten it up with layering. I don't know why I've been so hesitant. I think it's maybe because it might be the most typical thing that people use for gold, or they might use Reikland Flesh Shade. I was trying to find something else, even contemplating doing non-metallic metallic, but considering this is going to be 100 plus models, it's like, nah, I'm not doing an 18-step non-metallic metallic gold for 100 models. I might do that for the excoriators because there's not a lot of gold in that army. So actually, I might consider that because it's almost predominantly white, silver. There's a little bit of gold and red on their symbol, and then that's it. So, Oh, I don't know. Hey, are you guys interested in seeing a future project that I'm going to be painting while I'm letting this guy dry and I'm taking a drink? Oh, Nam's going to know what this project is because he helped me get this together. So, okay, good. So, I've got two images I'm going to show here. I've got them all cleaned up, filed down, assembled, and I just need to go in and add some green stuff to a couple tiny gaps. But I've got I think they're three times bigger or 300 times bigger, 300% bigger. Nam can give me the details, but I've got the Auditor model from Heresy Labs. I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger here for you guys. I'm assuming you guys are seeing this on the screen. Yeah, you should see it. So this is the female Auditor, or not the what is that guy called? The Vindicator Assassin from Space from Warhammer 40,000. But I've got this model. This is the female version, and I don't know if there's a male version. I think there is, but anyways, we got this printed off. I mean, we have the rights to print it off and everything. I bought the STL file, but yeah, basically it's a Vindicator Assassin. Now we have the file. I can put it pretty much any size. Actually, I do have the miniature at a regular size, but I'm not sure what size Nam helped me get this up to, but I think this is about 300% or 200% of its original size. And so the statue is about, well, you'll see it. I'm just showing you guys the images of what's going to be worked on here on the channel. So a little bit of this is going to be airbrushed, and then the rest will be nothing but brushwork. I'm going to use an airbrush to mainly do the base coat and some of the layering, some of the highlights, and then that's it. So there's that model. Let's see. Oh, it's a breech cloth. Thank you, Texas Wargamer. So we've got this at like 300% size. It's about a 4 or 5 inch tall model now. It's really awesome. So I'm going to get this paint. We're going to be painting this live probably in the next week or two, once I get all the other details. And then also we'll be doing the Entropy model, which is really my favorite. This is the one thing I wanted more than anyone else. So I have the STL files for this, and it is a female Caluxus-like assassin. Yeah, this right here is my favorite one out of all the models. She is glorious. So why is this significant besides just painting it on channel and you guys can see some bigger models instead of the smaller ones? Depending how everything goes together and how I feel about it, I can't sell these because I don't own the STL files. I think I could sell the paint job, but I don't want to step on Heresy Labs toes. But I can sure as heck turn these into trophies. I think, I've got one more. I forgot to save the image, but I'm thinking that I might turn these into trophies for painting contests in the future, for like Warzone Houston, maybe even for here on the channel. We might do a future painting contest. Don't start yet. But a painting contest to where you guys can compete here on the channel and probably win. Well, it's up to you if you're going to win or not. It comes down to your paint job. And I'm going to see if I can, let's see if I can get that image. There might be a delay, guys. I'm going to apologize right now. There might be a couple frame rate loss as I try to find this other image. Yeah, I don't have the other image. Sorry. Darn it. But the other one is Saint Celestine type looking, and it is what, you know what, I might be able to Saint model Heresy Labs Saint Manacle, is that monocle mackerel? Probably not mackerel because that's a delicious type of fish. Yeah, okay, let's see if I can get this up on screen for y'all and you guys can share in my enthusiasm for its beautiful gloriousness. Okay, I'll accept your gosh darn cookies. Leave me alone. Let's get this up here before I get back to painting. I'm letting that stuff dry. So this is the model. This is like, this one I think is at 300% size. It's got to be about 7 inches tall. It is absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, 350%. Thank you, Nam. I love that model. It is just so much wonderful detail. The Heresy Labs, if you get a chance, you can still back their stuff, guys, or you can go to their main website and order it now. Order it. Anyways, Nam did a wonderful, wonderful job of 3D printing these lovely ladies for me. So I think what I'm going to do is first paint up the ones that he did, and I might have him, maybe I'll of course pay him for the resin and everything, print everything up one more time, same size, and then I'll look at turning those into, I got to reach out to Heresy Labs to make sure I'm not violating any copyright infringement or anything, because I'm not going to sell it, but if I turn that into a trophy, a statue, I just want to make sure. I think I'm fine, but as long as I'm not selling it, because I'm giving it out, giving it away, I think it's different. So the idea is to have those 3 miniatures as trophies, or at the very least, this lovely lady is a trophy. We'll see. A lot of that coming down the line. So, all right, let's get back to Ranger Rick here. I don't know why I called him Ranger Rick, but let's get back to him here. All right, before I tinker with his fixing up his armor, I gotta get some color onto his face. So let's add a little bit of this. I'm gonna try a mixture of paints here. I've talked about before about trying to get a little bit racial diversity, not because of everything that goes on, but it's just because I paint so many models, white guy models, that I forget, there's lots of races out there. And from what I can tell from the Iron Snakes, they have a variety of skin tones, just like the Imperial Fists have a very diverse recruiting pool of races. So I'm going to, and it might, if you think that I'm pandering, I really don't care. I like having a diverse cast of characters and colors, and tired of seeing nothing but white guys. So, and plus it comes back to, as I've talked to you guys before, about challenging yourself to painting differently and painting kind of a black skin, not like salamanders. Sorry, I had none of that on the screen. I don't think I had that on screen. I apologize. I did a quick, that's a mixture of Cadian Fleshstone and Mournfang Brown. I thought Mournfang Brown was a little too much, especially when I come back in with probably Agrax Earthshade, so I can kind of show off the different the recesses. I think that was going to be too much, and it would lose some detail. So I thinned it down a little bit with Acadian Flesh Tone. And yeah, I hate painting the same skin. I really do. Like my personal chapter, I've got multiple skin tones. The Imperial Fists that I've done had multiple skin tones. When I do the excoriators, it'll have multiple skin tones. Not even a 1-to-1. It was more like I had a drop of Mournfang Brown put down, and I put a drop of Acadian Flesh Tone, but I didn't even use all the Acadian Flesh Tone. I just swiped my brush through it, and so maybe like half of a drop, maybe not even that. Yeah, probably about a half a drop of Acadian Flesh Tone mixed into it, just to soften it a little bit, so I can come back in with Agrax Earthshade. Oh, okay. Rhinox Hide, Mournfang Brown, then Baylor. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Gorthor might have worked, the Gorthor Brown. I just don't have it. So I figured that this was the right way to go. So I've done the straight Mournfang Brown. I did not like it. And since I'm going to be darkening this up, I was all right with lightening it and then before I darken it. All right, let's get in there and do some stretching and then some cleanup. But yeah, I think I'm gonna actually let me screenshot that so I can Rhinox Hide, Mournfang Brown, then Baylor. Is it Baylor Brown? Is that what that is? Okay, Knights. I think it's Baylor Brown. I think I have that. I don't think I have Rhinox Hide. I know I don't have Gorthor Brown. The only time I've had it here at the house was I had a Beastman commission for somebody, I think, and I used that, or it might have been a Wood Elf. Actually, I think that's what it was. It was a Sylvaneth project. Right now, I'm just kind of going just barely over the top, cleaning up the areas of the. Got a little too heavy with the Drakenhof Nightshade. While I'm still trying to keep it down in those recesses. So just clean that up so you can still see. I mean, to you it probably looks more black, but it's actually it is blue, and it does show through when you're in person with it. I don't know how it looks on camera right now. Like I said, I don't mind messing up, because sometimes, like I said, you get some happy accidents. Might find a new color that I like, or a new way to do things. I think exploring new options is always a good thing. Should not let yourself be in a rut with really anything in your life. I think, we get comfortable sometimes with our day-to-day, and it's safe, it's sound, it's reliable, but man, there's sometimes just get out from under that same process and try something new. And if you fail at that new thing, that's okay, because now you'll know what not to do, and maybe you might have liked it so much that you improve upon it. You don't have to do any of this. It's just a humble suggestion. I just think we as humans should strive, and hobbyists should be striving for better and better as we go. Yeah, you can do that, man. Yeah, it doesn't. People have done it before. Show off your work here, man. I wouldn't have. I'm always suggesting people, if you want to pimp your show, pimp your work, jump on here. Because I might see something that I might be like, dude, how'd you do that? Like when OK Nice jumped on there and told me about how he did his skin. That really is interesting to me. I like I said, like I've just been rattling off here. I want to learn. The only thing I would be a little bit kind of miffed about is if you came on here and was like, hey, everybody, stop listening to John and come over to my channel. Forget John. That might be a little rude. It might be a little rude. And that could actually be a violation of terms of service on Twitch. I could be wrong, but as long as you're not doing something like that, man, yeah, show your stuff off. I'll take a look at in just a second. I want to finish up getting this cleaned up. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good there on the cleanup. All right. He is coming along. He's looking magnificent. All right. Well, I appreciate you asking. That's very nice of you, dude. All right, let me take a peek here. I can clear out these other links. Oh, that's a pretty girl. Let's see here. Man, that is a dude. Texas Wargamer. Do you mind if I put it up on camera real quick? Or on screen? I'll wait till yes or no. Is that a Hero Forge model? Yes, it is a Hero. It says right there, it's a Hero Forge model. Nice. So we'll wait till... Oh, okay, go for it. Cool, let's do this. That's actually... I really like that, man. Those Hero Forge models, they're a little pricey, but, man, be able to custom make your own model. I love that. I love the character... I mean, this is a very lovely characterful model. I'm assuming an orc, half-orc female warrior or barbarian. Maybe with are those 2 tankards of ale? Oh, look at all the beer bottles everywhere and the detail. I really love Hero Forge. If nobody's ever done it before, you can Google Hero Forge minis or just Hero Forge. Man, you can sit there and custom make your own models. I've actually been tinkering with doing a modern day John model. Anyways, dude, I like that. I like the cloth, the green skin. Is that kind of like a yellowish? Is that like looks like there's multiple greens on there. Can't see because the way kind of like the lights washed out a little bit. Looks like some moot greens, some yellows mixed in there. Hair looks really good. Yeah, man, I like it. It's a very good job. And I know that those models are very, very difficult to work with. I mean, no, I shouldn't say difficult to work with. They're just kind of a pain to buy. Oh, I like what you did right there. Layering up the cloth. Like I've got Citadel camo greens. Okay, gotcha. I like that. I really like it. I like, man, every aspect about that is really good. I mean, those models are a high detail modeled, but you're also dealing with, I'm assuming you probably got looks like you probably got the premium plastic, so a little bit more expensive. Man, that looks really good. I like it. I really do. Oh man, those boots look good. The flesh looks good, man. I'd say you did a very good job. Couldn't see. Did you put an edge? Oh yeah, you do have an edge on that axe. Okay, good. Even better. Yeah, I say you did a damn good job, dude. Damn good job. Like here's the one I did. I ended up not doing the character for. I didn't end up playing in the game, or I only played once in the game. I was doing a female brawler. I think I've shown her off before. I know the quality is not coming off too good here. I definitely like Hero Forge. You can make your own models and stuff, but okay, it's a Death World Forest, Elysian Green, and Ogren Camo. Okay, I can see all that. Very good, man. Very good job. I liked it. And that's your character, or were you doing that a commission for somebody? I think you were telling me about that D&D character. I feel like you were talking about it before. I'm actually going to jump in real quick here. We're going to put some Agrax. I think Agrax Earthshade might be redundant, but probably Nolan Oil is probably what I should have been doing, like what OK Knight said. But you know what? I'll live with my mistakes. Get that in there, let that settle, and then we'll dry brush up, and then lighten it up, and then darken it up. Oh, okay. This is for a friend in the D&D group. Bang up job, dude. Bang up job. And I know the camera is never always, unless you have like a $1,000 digital camera or something. I know there's always issues, and even with the camera, it looked a little grainy. But that's camera. That's not the model. So I imagine, when I see stuff on Instagram, even when I post my own stuff, or even right now, I know that in person, or if I had a better camera, it just gets better. So yeah, very awesome. Well done. All right. Tinker with some gold here. I'm going to start with, so that's Retributor Gold with Agrax Earthshade over it. And we're just going to barely go over the Aquila with Auric Armor Gold. I don't want to get too heavy with it. I just want to brighten it back up a little bit, try to leave those recesses with the Agrax Earthshade in it. And I've got a little bit left, just kind of barely breeze over whatever this thing is that he's holding. I don't know what that is. I really don't care. Whatever it is, does not matter. And I've got a little bit on his belt. All right. Okay. Well, you're using a 4 to 5 year old phone and it looks that good. Yeah. And then it's going to look even better in person. So yeah, I really like that, man. Sometimes I do like the Reikland Flesh Shade. It depends on what the rest of the background color is. So Reikland Flesh Shade did not hold up well on the gold especially with the silver chrome, almost chrome-like armor as the backdrop. So that's why I switched over to the Agrax Earthshade. Almost switched over to Nolan Oil, but Nolan Oil I like to do for a different style. I generally do like the Nolan Oil as my wash, because then I can go for a more worn down looking gold. But in this case, Agrax Earthshade ended up being the better option, and I had to even go back and clean up or redo a couple models because I did not like the Reikland. Right now, I'm just trying to very gently put some Runefang Steel just over those raised edges of the Aquila. A little bit on the skull there, a little bit on the belt, a little bit on the thingamajig. I'm not worried about object source lighting for these models because they're so bright. I'm getting colors every different direction. But anyways, by going in and putting on that by putting in the little highlights along those, or the Windfang steel along those feathers, it adds another brighter layer, so it makes that Agrax Earthshade, or whatever color you end up using, down in those recesses pop a little bit more, and it kind of looks, you get those little shinier. It gets a little shiny, depending on where you're holding the model. Like I said, I'm not worried about directions of light, because these. I'm not doing like a super award-winning army here. I mean, I'm hoping to win some awards, but this is more of a playable army. And sometimes I have found that unless you are doing a model or a unit specifically for an award or a contest, like a Golden Demon or Crystal Brush or something like that, unless you're doing one of those models, object sort, or doing like which direction the light is coming on your models, can actually be slightly detrimental in the judging, because the judges are just looking for a clean looking army, especially when you're at a convention or a tournament or something, or even a local tournament. And yeah, your object source lighting looks cool, but if you sometimes those judges don't even, they're not, I don't want to say not skilled, but they're just doing a quick look over of your army, and they might not look at it from the right direction. They might not have the right lighting in there, and it could be, all that work could be for nothing. I'm not saying don't do it, but just be aware that, if you were to go through like a 60 model army and have all the light source come from one direction, it could get lost in translation. And I would hate for, you get passed up for something that looks absolutely amazing, but it's not the right audience. So I'm keeping this in mind for going to GTs and going to majors and local gaming conventions, where I'm not competing for it's not an individual paint award. It's just, I'm just trying to get a good paint score for the army. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, they're looking more for the cohesiveness. I mean, I'm not saying that all judges are like that, but when you attend an event, and even a small weekend event, you've got, say, 20 people competing at a tournament, and you have to go around and judge everybody's army, and you have to get a couple other people maybe, and you're getting just some randos or some store employees or somebody, you're going to have differing degrees of judging. Even at a convention or like a tournament, like a GT or a major, you're going to have different levels of judging. And I think a more cohesive look, and you kind of deal with like all around lighting like this. I'm dealing with it from all directions. I want you to be able to pick up this model, and it looks, you don't have to worry about object or the light source coming from one direction. Some areas I will make darker, some won't, but I don't know what the light is going to be like where I'm at. I don't know how they're going to be looking at it. Will somebody be blocking it? Are they going to be half blind, color blind? I don't know. So I just rely on literally the natural light after I get the model fully painted, because the light might be coming from the right, but like I could turn this light off, and it gets darker over here than over here. And then, if I was to block that light off, there might be lighter on one side and lighter on the other, or darker on the other. So that's my theory about this. Now, if I was going in to say, if I was going to paint this guy and go balls to the wall, this guy's going to be entered in a Golden Demon or something, I would consider where the light source is for everything. And reflections, like whenever I do the lenses on the helmet, the lenses on the dead Alpha Legion, there on the base, I would be paying attention to all of that. It's just different just something to consider. People might be like, well, where's your object source light coming from? Where's, all that stuff coming from? That's just something to consider, especially, and I'm not putting down any of those fantastic, wonderful, amazing painters out there that do their own shows, that have, tens of thousands of followers, and that go crazy over anything they do. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying, know your audience before you invest 60 hours in on one model. And, you put 60 hours in on an entire army, and then, it actually looks great, but this guy that put in maybe half the time on his army, but went for an all-around cohesiveness, might win also, or might beat you out. So just know your audience. Know, I know it's a hard thing to really discuss, because you just never know. I mean, you might be in an artist area where everybody is just absolutely bonkers crazy, amazing, multiple golden demon winners. So what your audience is. What your judges are going to be like. But maybe somebody else could be in an area where they really don't care about that sort of thing. But if you show up with a model that looks good and is nice and cohesive, it looks nice and uniform no matter which direction they have or they look at it, they're amazed with it, then you might end up winning. I don't know. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, and I apologize for that. I think I'm getting a little hungry. And that's just from my personal experience from judging and being around other judges, and for winning contests. I have been beaten out in some cases quite fairly. Other times, at least one time, I lost, and I really don't know why. I to this day, I still don't know why. It's a difference between a smooth paint job, where it kind of looks as natural as possible, versus like somebody caked on the paint. I think they just, I hate saying this, but I feel like the person that won was given the win, like they needed the win, to kind of boost confidence type of thing. Like maybe they've had a rough time. I could just be making an excuse, but I have no problem admitting when somebody has a better paint job. No problem whatsoever. I will easily concede that point. But when it's a paint job that is not a high quality, then I've got a bit of an issue. But the local paint, it was it was a GT. Not a big deal. I didn't blow up, and I didn't invite controversy by talking bad about them, or I guess I am talking bad about them now, but you know what I mean. I didn't go and put it all over Twitterverse and badmouth the event. I'm not even telling you guys what the event was, and I'm not going to, I should say. But the point I'm trying to make is that just know the audience that you're going to be painting for. And I mean, especially, man, if you don't even care about all that kind of stuff, you just want to get checks in the box, then dude, get your checks in the box. Get your 3-color minimum, get your models based, and go. Just go. Especially with contrast paints now, you could easily do that. You could easily get your models built, painted, and ready to go in no time. I mean, I think the average Space Marine with contrast paints, depending on what you're doing, and we might even test that out, test out that theory, but I think the average paint time for a Blood Angel was you could do 10 intercessors in about 20 minutes. Something like that. So just put some black hair on because I don't know what else to do. And I think that really kind of caps off, helps kind of frame his head a little bit better. I could have gone in, and actually I even contemplated going in with a different color, because it was just like he got his, I don't know, maybe he went to the Space Marine barber and was going to do something different with his hair. I don't know if Space Marines care about fashion, but I thought about making his hair a little bit different, but in the end, the Black Templar, I think, really helps that the skin tone and everything there. So we're gonna go with that. That's the story I'm sticking to. Real quick, also on the knee pad, I put a very watered down layer, probably about 2 drops of brush loads of water to 1 drop of Evil Sun Scarlet to put over the Mephiston Red. And I did also the same for the Purity Seals. It's just something I do. I don't know if it's necessary. I also did that for his shoulder pad that was already done on a previous model, and I just swapped him over. So he is coming along nicely. I need to get that other shoulder pad, because I was just trying to figure out, why does this look odd? And it's because I don't have his shoulder pad on. That's why it's throwing me off, not having the red, white, and the blue, or the red, at least the red and white on the other side. But I did not prep his shoulder pad, so not going to deal with it. What we are going to deal with is, let's get back to our Pope, our zombie Pope. I totally forgot about him. Been goofing off this whole time. Zombie Pope. Sorry if you're Catholic or Catholic. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has a Pope. So Mephiston Red has settled, and from some images that I saw, it looks like the lining on several areas. I'm not going to try to do all the extra detail, the gold lace and whatnot. So we're just going to apply some Retributor gold, and then we're going to darken it up. So that we're going to do that around the entire, do that trim around the entire model here. And we're going to use that Retributor gold in a couple other spots. Then we'll come back through and darken it up, then lighten it up, bloody it up with some blood from the Blood God, technical paint. Make it nice and bloody here and there. The Zope. Oh yeah, I guess the Zope. I'm assuming he's a zombie. He could just actually, I never even looked. I should probably look at the zombie side Huntsman pack to see if, in fact, this is a zombie Pope. Because that would be very embarrassing, that this is actually a playable character. I don't think it is, because there's like 4 of them in the box. I have a feeling that this is a bad guy. But you never know. He looks awfully angry. And his robes on the back, on the back side are, they do have battle damage. Cuts and tears, which I don't think a regular Super Pope, I don't know if that's my term, this Pope would normally have tears on it. I feel like he wouldn't. I know it's Middle Ages, but I still feel like he would have the best vestments as possible at the expense of the community starving. Because that's unfortunately the nature of the church back in the day. Unfortunately, dark times back in the medieval times. So we're gonna also put the whatever this collar is that he's got here. I saw another picture, or when I saw the picture, it also had like this. This was goldish. And like I said, I'm sorry if you are offended that I'm painting a zombie Pope. It's not my model. I didn't come up with it. I'm just responsible for it right now. If you are offended, then I will direct you to Cool Mini or Not and the designers of Zombicide and the Black Plague. You free to contact them. I, however, have a duty to paint this model with this very bad brush I should stop using. It's very, very bad brush. Jesus, John. Just throw it away already. This is just the layering though. We're going to go back in and clean all of it up since I'm using a bad brush, but we're definitely making this zombie pope look a lot more has a lot more ostentatiousness. Reminds me of the bishop and the pope in, I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix cartoon. I'm leery to say anime. I'm not sure what company did it, so it could be an anime, but the Castlevania. Oh man, if you have not seen Castlevania, I'm sorry, but I feel like you're missing out. You are missing out. All right. Man, I really do think you're missing out. That is such a wonderful series. I hope we'll get season 4. I think there might be some issues with it. They might have to find another writer because the writer, I think Garth Ennis, I think that's who it is, might be having some issues, a little Me Too moment, possibly, so he might get pulled from it. I think. I hope not. Not only just for his sake and the sake of the show, but hopefully there's not a victim and all that stuff. Definitely don't want there to be a victim. Especially on such a talented person. I don't like anybody to be a bad guy, but it sucks when people that you admire end up being bad guys or bad women. And it sucks. But won't support bad guys. Now they apologize and there's legal repercussions and everything ends up getting worked out. You do your time. Okay, cool. You're good. But until you are punished, we are not cool. I know it's a little harsh, but I think you should be punished for your crimes, and once your punishment is over, that's it. Congratulations. You've been punished, and you can return to society. Alright, just doing some more of this red, not Mephiston red, but this Flesh Terror red. Sorry if I got a little sidetracked there with talking about bad behavior. I know you guys are not here for that, so I apologize for that. I tend to ramble sometimes and I get off on a thread, especially when I'm talking about movies and anime and cartoons that I like. I really, really like the story that's been unfolding with Castlevania. Dang good writing, bang up acting or voice acting. Really super happy with it. And I hope all the allegations don't end up being true. Alright, Zombie Pope. Man, I really hope he is a zombie in this. I'll definitely hold off on doing the flesh until I can confirm that. Alright. The gold has had enough time to dry, so we are actually going to use Nuln Oil here instead of Agrax or Reikland Flesh Wash. Why? No idea. Just what I feel. And I'm going to go with my feelings on this one when it comes to painting. Tend to trust my that feeling when it comes to painting. And maybe it's also because I have not been painting black or non-oil over gold lately, and I miss doing it. I like it a lot better. I feel like this gold has been woven in. It's not like this is actual gold cloth. It might actually just be could be threads of gold woven into the cloth, or it's just yellow, like a dyed gold color cloth. So, but regardless, I'd like to darken it up and get around his collar here. Take care of his Pope hat. Not sure what the Pope hat is called, but I call it the Pope hat. And yeah, I do think he's a zombie. I'm looking here at his face a little bit more, and it's looking a little grisly. All right, Space Pope is coming along. I'll let that dry. Ah, man, before I did all that, I should have went in and dealt with all the highlights on the robes. Oh well. Oh well. We will fix that as it happens. Break out the smaller dry brush and do that. All right. Let's check on our lieutenant. And he is looking mighty nice. Mighty nice. Heck yeah. Alright, so let's grab some skeleton horde. We'll get that applied to those purity seals, and then we're going to mess with this skin tone just a little bit. Lighten it up before we darken it up, if that makes sense. I've already darkened it up, but we'll lighten it up and then probably go back in with some Agrax Earthshade, maybe a thinned down Agrax Earthshade. All right. Let us try. This is how often I do black skin, so I got to experiment here. I forgot how I did it before. So let's see if this dry brush works. I also want to kind of dry that skin out a little bit, a little glossy. All right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So that was a little bit of Steel Legion drab to flesh out those details. You can see his jawline, his nose, and everything a little bit better now. That scar on the side of his face. Cool. This is working. Okay, I'm happy. Let's capitalize on this. Now that I've lightened it up, I want to kind of... There's probably several ways, and I'm probably going to do the wrong way to do this, but I'll own the mistake. Now that I've lightened that up, I'm actually going to attempt to put Mournfang Brown. I might have had to lighten that up the second time. I don't think I have enough on my brush here. I don't think I'm even doing anything with it. But come back through with Mournfang Brown over that Steel Legion drab highlight, kind of get that rich brown color, that Mournfang Brown on there. Yeah. Okay. I don't think that worked quite the way I wanted it to. Darn it. Might try one more thing here. I'm experimenting with the skins. Like I said, I don't remember how I did this before. And I thought I had a very good technique, but I don't do it all that often, so. And I've gotten away with it, especially this current army, because almost every single model has, actually, with the exception of one model, everybody has a helmet on. So, I haven't had to really worry about it, because I generally just like helmets on my models. Especially, it's like in the warfare in the 41st millennia, wear your damn helmets. If the war zones and the universe is so deadly that you need to be having these massive shoulder pads to protect your shoulder pads, which are somehow so vulnerable, so much more vulnerable in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, then you should also be wearing your helmet as much as possible. That's my opinion. It could be wrong. They're Space Marines. They can do what they want, but I feel like if it is that bad that you have to wear these massive shoulder pads and massive knee pads, that should probably be wearing your helmet. But what do I know? I'm just a guy. Okay, well, there we go. Not the prettiest of skin jobs there. Got a little too pale, but we can tinker with that. This is experimenting. Let's just do a little bit. This is probably going to work out. This is probably going to work out, ladies and gents. Yep. Oh, that Agrax Earthshade really settled down in there nicely. Oh, okay. So yeah, we were on the right track. So there we go. There we go. All right. So we got the darker skin, we got the black skin, right amount. Still not 100% perfect, but I'll take it. Something I'm gonna have to work on if I do any more people with bare heads. Probably have to wait until I start on those excoriators before I tinker with that. But that's months and months away. This full army needs to be up to battle company size first, or company size, sorry, before I start on the excoriators. Just some Mephiston red down in that eye socket. Realize that this other eye socket has been blown out on his helmet. All right. He's looking pretty good. Looking pretty manly. Trying to see if I've got a shoulder pad handy, but I don't see one. Darn it. Oh well. We'll make do. We'll make do. Since he is a lieutenant, and I've been doing all the lieutenants with the other lieutenant's got a white plume, but he doesn't have a plume on his helmet, because I couldn't effectively chop off his arm and there without really destroying the body. So what we're going to do is apply a little bit of Corax white to start. This will be my base. And we'll just drag this back to halfway mark here. Fill that in. Perfect. So I'll go back in and we'll hit that with Corax white, and I'm going to leave it as that white color. I'm not going to paint the normal symbol that you see, because he's got this gosh darn skull right in the center here where I'd be painting the red. I don't want to tinker with that. I don't want to mess that up. So we're just going to leave this center part of his helmet white, and that'll have to be enough to denote him as a lieutenant. Oh yeah, that face is settling in there very nicely. Yeah. I'm going to have to go in. I'm actually going to probably look at a couple medical sites because he's got that scar there, and I want that scar to be kind of a puckered, bruised, or damaged. So I'm going to have to go look at probably some medical sites about scarring with different skin tones. I mean, white and, you know, like kind of olive, like, I don't know if olive's the right terminology, but for like Hispanic or Asian, some Asian countries, kind of not white, but not black, somewhere in between. Olive sounds about the right tone, but I don't know if that's racist to say olive skin tone or almond. No, not almond. Olive, I think. Whatever. Anyways, you know, whenever there's bruising or there's actual scarring and whatnot, I like to show that it's not necessarily a fresh scar. Texas Wargamer, I know how to do that. I want that scar on the side of his face to look like it's been there for a while, but like the tissue is all puckered up. Okay, olive is a skin tone. Okay, so I'm gonna go look at some medical sites to see like scarring on black tissue. It'll be a little, I'm not sure. I can kind of imagine it, but I'll just wait and tinker with that next time. We'll probably do that tomorrow night. I want to get it as accurate as possible. So I think that is it for tonight, guys and gals. I think I'm gonna throw in the towel. I'm a little exhausted here. This guy ended up being a lot more involved, and Space Pope, or not Space Pope, sorry. The Pope here needs a little bit of work. You know what? For Pope here, one last thing. Since he is battle damaged, I guess, or all messed up, I don't like. I mean, I'm gonna go in and tinker with the color of his robes. But I'm gonna throw Known Oil down in those recesses. I want to darken that up a little bit more. Still a little too red for me, even with this this color palette here, or that darker fleshed hair red. I want it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to put a little Known Oil, and that also help settle down in those recesses of the robe. So when I come back over it with its highlights, which will probably just be a very gentle, very smooth dry brush. I'll have to be very careful with it. I'll do that tomorrow on tomorrow's show, but I want to be able to do that. It'll go over those. It'll go over that and show those recesses quite nicely. I think that it's going to end up being the best thing to do here. I think that's going to be the best course of action. We want to keep darkening this guy up and make him look a little nastier. So, not that, you know, Pope should be, but, you know, he's a zombie Pope. So, or Zope, as Texas Wargamer put it. So, once all that settles and dries, then I'll wait till tomorrow to do the highlights. But we'll come back over, highlight him up, finish up the bottom of his robes. We're gonna make the from the knees down. We're gonna get I'm gonna put some blood splatter on there. Probably put some blood on at least his hands or his face and his jaw, something like that. We're gonna make him very gross, and then we're gonna rinse and repeat this onto 3 more of them. Yikes! But you know, this is, like I said, this is just kind of experimenting, seeing how it works. I'm gonna go ahead and wick up a little bit of that. It's a little too thick down in there. There we go. Just have fun with it. I mean, there's really no right or wrong way to do these guys. I'm trying to be a little bit accurate. I was looking at a picture of a Pope. I think we're on the right track, but whatever. If it ends up backfiring, it ends up backfiring. But I think we're on the right track. This is going to look good. And then I'll be able to rinse and repeat very easily. So tomorrow night, same time, 7:30 p.m., we'll finish up the Pope. We'll probably finish up our new lieutenant, at least minus the base there, because I still don't know what I'm doing with the basing. And we're going to tinker with a couple more zombie side models. I still got a lot more to go. And I've got a Marvel Crisis Protocol model around here somewhere, Shuri from the Black Panther. I'm gonna paint her because like I said, I need to work on that black skin tone. So, and Shuri has at least, I believe, on her upper arms and her face and part of her neck. And I feel like maybe her abdomen is showing. I don't know. I don't remember. But there's a lot of skin tone on that I can tinker with. So, yay! All right. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have not hit that follow button, please do so. I really, really super appreciate it. If you also get a chance, I'm going to scroll back up, and real quick here, I want to put in OK Knight's YouTube page. Go over there, give him a follow if you don't mind. Help grow his channel. He's got some great tutorial videos, way better than what I've done. There, right there. I think that should be it. It should take you right to his page. Hit that follow button or subscribe button. Leave comments on his videos, because that's how when we put our videos up on YouTube, we know that people are watching them, and we can answer your comments, because we can't answer if we don't know what your questions are, or respond to your critique or anything. Also, by hitting the like button, the thumbs up, hitting the subscribe, and leaving a comment also shows the wild world, the wider world, that these videos exist, and it gets more people seeing it. So the more that we jump on there, at least thumbs up and a follow, it really supports the channel. So you guys have yourself a wonderful night. I will see you in about 22 hours. I'll see you guys about 7:30 tomorrow night. Be safe, be careful, get plenty of sleep and rest, and I will see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for following and joining me tonight, keeping me entertained with your comments. Thank you once again. See you guys tomorrow.